It's an honor to be here on this stage with the people who have come before me. You know, before Burning, I used to be the most famous guy from Vermont. So it's with great pride and joy that I give that mantle up to Bernie. Ice cream is good. But a president of the United States that truly stands for justice in all its flavors, that is euphoric. And that's why I'm here with you tonight in Chicago instead of being back home in Vermont licking ice cream. You know, euphoria is a high-minded word, but the reason Bernie will be able to transform Washington is that he's down to earth. He has a vision, and it's pretty basic. He believes that the United States should work to improve the lives for everyday people We're a very supportive crowd, instead of corporations and the ultra-wealthy.
A small, intimate, quiet get-together. What a turnout, and thank you so much for being here. Let me thank the Tommy's Reunion Choir. Crazy and extreme, not the case anymore. 3 years ago, the ideas that we brought forth here in Illinois and all over the country were rejected by Democrats. Not anymore. We have begun the political revolution, and now we're gonna complete it. We are not only going Donald Trump. The most dangerous president in modern American history. But with your help, we're going to do more than that. We're not only going to defeat Trump, we're going to transform the United States of America. It ain't Bernie, it is you. It must be you. And the whole point of the political revolution is that nobody, not Bernie or anybody else, can do it alone. We have got to do it together by the millions. Now we're talking. That's right. Together. Not me, but together. We are going to finally in this country create an economy and government that works for all of us, not just the 1%. Together, we are going to create a political system which is based on the democratic principles of one person, one vote, and end a corrupt political system in which billionaires are buying elections. Today, I want to welcome you to a campaign which says loudly and proudly that the underlying principles of our government will not be greed, kleptocracy, hatred, authoritarianism, and pathological lying. While veterans who defended this country sleep out on the streets and seniors cannot afford the medicine they need. We will no longer accept 46% of all new income going to the top 1%, while millions of Americans are forced to work 2 or 3 jobs just to survive, and over half of our people live paycheck to paycheck. We will no longer accept a situation in which in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, our younger generation will have a lower standard of living than their parents. They will have lower wages, higher debt, unaffordable housing, and less mobility. Now, I've got 4 kids and 7 grandchildren. Downward mobility is not acceptable to me or the American people. Today, we launch the political revolution. But I want you all to be very clear, and it's important that you are understanding what we are up against. This struggle is not just about defeating Donald Trump. This struggle is about taking on the incredibly powerful institutions that control the economic and political life of our country. And I am talking about Wall Street. I am talking about the insurance companies and the drug companies and the fossil fuel industry and the military-industrial complex and the prison-industrial complex. Brothers and sisters, there is too much concentration of wealth and power in this country, and this is a fight we are not going to run away from. We believe in democracy, not oligarchy. Today, we say to the private health insurance companies, whether you like it or not, the United States will join every other major country on earth and guarantee health care for all. Build our crumbling infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our rail systems, our subways, our water systems, our wastewater plants, our airports, and affordable housing. And when we do that, when we put our people to work rebuilding this country, we create up to 13 million good-paying jobs. Today, we say to the parents of young children in this country, we understand that 0 through 4 are the most significant ages of a human being, intellectually and emotionally. The children of this country are our future, and we will establish a high-quality, universal pre-K system. Today we say to the young people that we want you to get the best education that you can, regardless of the income of your family. It has been 9 years since the Brown versus Board of Education decision, Supreme Court decision, that desegregated schools in America. But the school officials here in Chicago at that time had still refused to meaningfully desegregate the city's public schools. Black schools were overcrowded and underfunded, with many students forced to share chairs and desks. Meanwhile, a report at that time found over 380 white classrooms were completely empty. But instead of putting black children in those empty classrooms, the school officials decided to put old trailers. You know what old trailers look like? Put old trailers on the black school grounds. And those trailers were called Willis wagons after the Chicago school superintendent of that time, Mr. Benjamin Willis. Those trailers were a monstrosity. Students would boil in the heat and freeze in the cold. They were infested with rats. They were an insult and a disgrace. And the community fought back. One day, many of us went to the spot where they were planning to put the trailers. We were corralled by the police and told not to cross a line. Well, some of us did cross that line. And, of course, we were arrested. And we spent that night in jail until we were bailed out in the morning by the NAACP. Now, the reason I tell you all of this is because my activities here in Chicago taught me a very important lesson that I have never forgotten. And that is that whether it is the struggle against corporate greed, against racism, sexism, homophobia, environmental devastation, or war and militarism, real change never takes place from the top on down. It always takes place from the bottom on up. Have we made progress in civil rights in this country since the early 1960s when I lived here in Chicago? And the answer is yes, we have. But do we still have a very, very long way to go to end the institutional racism which permeates almost every aspect of our society? And the answer is absolutely. 2 years ago, we turned on our televisions and we saw Nazis marching in Charlottesville. Nazis marching in the streets of the United States. We have in recent years seen a major spike in hate crimes against blacks, against Muslims, against the gay community, against Jews, against Latinos, and other minorities. And over the last number of years, we have seen a terrible level of police violence against unarmed people in the minority community. Laquan McDonald, Sandra Bland, Michael Brown, Rekia Boyd, Eric Garner, Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, and many, many others, people of color, killed by police who should be not the first. And by the way, when we talk about criminal justice reform, we are going to change a system in which tens of thousands of Americans every single year get criminal records for possessing marijuana, but not one major Wall Street executive went to jail for destroying our economy in 2008. No, they didn't go to jail, they got a $1 trillion bailout. Our campaign, as you know, is about fundamentally ending the disparity of wealth and power in our country when so few have so much and so many have so little. But as we do that, we must end the disparity within the disparity. Today, the average black family has 1/10 the wealth of the average white family. Today, the infant mortality rate in black communities is more than double the rate for white communities, and the death rate for cancer and almost every disease is far higher for blacks. Black women are 3.5 times more likely to die from pregnancy than white women. Today, Flint, Michigan is still without new pipes for clean water. And it's not just Flint. There are thousands of other communities, often minority communities, where the water that people are drinking, the air that people are breathing, is not fit for human beings. Today, redlining prevents black-owned businesses from getting the loans they need, and predatory lending results in higher interest rates in the African American community. Whether it is a broken criminal justice system or massive disparities in the availability of financial services, or health disparities, or environmental disparities, or educational disparities, our job is, and we will, create a nation in which all people are treated equally. Gun violence in Chicago and in this country. And the NRA notwithstanding, we are going to pass common sense gun safety legislation. When we are in the White House, we are going to protect a woman's right to control her body. That is not a decision for the federal government or the state government or the local government. That is a woman's choice and nobody else's. Brothers and sisters, we have an enormous amount of work in front of us, and the path forward will not be easy because the big money interests will do everything they possibly can to protect their financial interests. And they have an unlimited amount of money at their disposal. But it is an interesting point to make that they may have an unlimited amount of money, but we have something they don't have and never will have, and that is a united people. If we do not allow Trump and his friends to divide us up, if we stand together as black and white and Latino, Asian American, Native American, if we stand together as gay and straight, if we stand together as native born and immigrant, if we stand together as women and men, if we stand together, urban and rural, north, south, east, and west, if we understand that there really is no such thing as a red state or a blue state, but that we are a nation in which in every single state, the majority of working people are struggling hard to provide a decent life for their kids. stand together, believing in justice and human dignity, if we believe in love and compassion, the truth is, there is nothing